What is up, guys? Welcome to a new video. Today we're checking out 5 more weird picks that actually work, that can win games but are just nowhere near normal at all. If you want to check out our last episode, it'll be in the description for another 5, but I think I'm gonna make a series of these every like 2 weeks now. Last video was crazy. It got like 2,000 comments of builds. I said I would read them all and I did. A lot of them were awesome and I have them saved ready for next time. Anyway, make sure you like this video. If you did, leave your own builds in the comments and try and get involved. Like comment or like other ones that you think are cool, but remember, please do not try these in ranked before you practice them. If you're going to ignore that and do it anyway, then fine, just don't do what loads of people did last time and blame me and link my video, okay? Not cool. So let's kick this off with one that a lot of people have been talking about. I really butcher names, so I'm just going to show you them on screen and not attempt to pronounce them, okay? Braum on here top lane though is something that has been messed around with for quite a while, I guess. Like, his kit is pretty decent as a tank because he can absorb so much damage and his base values are so high as well. Ever since Wit's End was buffed actually though, I think it's gotten a lot better. That item is so cheap, plus it's really perfect for us. All of his spells do magic damage, so the magic resist you steal makes you do more damage. You get tankier, which is always nice, but the attack speed means you proc your passive so quick and you keep slapping them after as well. In case you didn't actually know, his Q does 2.5% of their max health plus the base number. Rank 5 that's going to be 240, so it's 240 plus the 2.5%, which obviously does more against a tank like in the top lane. The interesting thing is his scalings actually work well with his kit as a tanky like bruiser damage source, I guess. So like your Q has the maximum health damage, like you don't need to have AP. Like normal spells have an AP ratio, right? This doesn't. The W jump gives you bonus armor and magic resist, but it's going to be increased by a percentage of your bonus armor and magic resist. So the more tanky you are, the more tank items you have, the more you get. Your E just absorbs hits anyway, great at the front of a fight while you're slapping people, and your ultimate does have a 60% AP ratio, but just high base damage, a slow and a knock-up duration, which are good anyway. So I think we've kind of pointed out his kit is really good, right? But in the lane, you're not really going to be doing a whole ton. You can kill people actually, like, but it's probably going to be more about the 2 item spike, I guess. So for me, you have this kind of combo where you can leap forward to a minion, point blank Q, auto Titanic, auto with the reset, and just whack them while they're going to be stunned. It's amazing. The stun itself will do some good damage plus your spells, but the constant pounding you're going to give them is really the difference maker. His kit is just really super strong, and that's what makes him a decent bruiser though. So after that, you can go for a mix of items though, like Deadman's for the extra combo first, auto damage and armor. Rageblade will really sting. Gunblade gives you sustain. Triforce, more Sheen combo damage. There are a lot of choices. The cool thing with Rageblade though is that you actually do that combo, right, that we just talked about, and by the time they're out of the stun, you have it fully stacked and can be applying all of that extra damage already. In teamfights, you function like a normal tank bruiser, to be honest, but with the added benefit of being able to kill most people that you hit instead of just being annoying in crowd control. It's gonna sound weird, you might not believe me until you try this, but he can pretty comfortably 1v1 at most champions, and it's great. It's definitely a lot of fun. So next up is one I've dug up. We're gonna take a look at Lulu, but this is going to be full AD Lulu, as in Triforce, Infinity Edge, Rapid Fire Cannon, proper AD carry style, and this is played in Diamond, by the way. The guy I found that does this is top lane mostly, but in theory it would work bot lane as well, I guess. I think it's going to be better top though. It's not exactly like a late game fight pick. It's okay, but it's more about the lane phase, the mix of damage and utility rather than a late game carry. Anyway, so the build is Triforce, Rapid Fire Cannon, Phantom Dancer, Infinity Edge, and a Bloodthirster. This guy goes full balls deep. Now before we get into why this actually works, I just have to say that the laning phase against this is probably the worst experience you're ever gonna have playing League. Seriously, if you're against an AD Lulu. As Lulu, you can beat almost any single laner because of how much damage you do, and the shields and polymorph as well. It's so hard to play against, and you're probably gonna kill your opponent at least a few times, even someone like Pantheon. So why does it actually work though? Like, I guess picks is kind of the main thing. That's why we're building so much attack speed anyway. Early though, you have ability damage with base values and autos that hurt more. That is a really nasty combo, and it's gonna basically bully anyone. Most of Lulu's kit though is magic damage including picks. Now normally that means why would you build AD with no AD ratios, but for Lulu it provides a mix of damage, AD and AP. You cannot build against her to shut her down as a tank. You build armor, the picks damage is going to be OP. You build magic resist, the auto damage is going to be OP. Picks does on hit damage every single attack like her passive, if you didn't know. So attack speed from Triforce, Rapid Fire Cannon, Phantom Dancer, you're attacking very fast, so further damage is through the roof. Sheen, AD, crit damage plus the picks. That is just her passive as well. Can't really say enough about that. It's ridiculous with this build, but the rest of the things like Q, the slow to hit them for longer, like to keep them in range. The base damage is high as well. Your W is the polymorph to whack them while they can't do anything, or you give yourself more attack speed as well. Your E and your ultimate are shields, so you can like DPS for longer. It's basically like having an AD carry and Lulu support rolled into one nasty little package. Your team fights are kind of average though, I guess. Like still decent, but the range isn't going to be the highest. If you aren't can't touch you will output a serious amount of damage, so basically like a second AD carry. So next up is another one from you guys. This I did have on my radar actually, but I spotted it in the video comments, so we're going to go with this one. It also actually made me laugh. Here's a comment, right? Then he tags in screaming in all caps and Thunderlords, not Strength of the Ages. Like, that's a very crucial, super important part of it. So Zyra jungle is probably the most legit out of all of these in the video, and by most legit I mean the strongest one that you could actually play seriously and rank to climb with. You have a very solid clear because of your plants. They tank most of the monster damage while dishing out a lot of damage at the same time, but your ganks are actually decent. This really surprised me, but your plant's slow and like roots people, but by far she is best when your laner engages or follows up straight away. You're very low health, right, and they can just turn and burst you if you aren't careful, which might have happened a couple of times to me. Also, while she does clear well, she's super squished, so going against like a Shaco who will just invade you and kill you would probably not be the best experience. In teamfights though, she is amazing. Like, functions basically the same as a mid laner or a support Zyra would, like similar damage output and obviously the zone control from your ultimate as well. The good thing is really with this though, you free up the support role or the mid slot for something else while still having Zyra on your team. For example, you could have a Braum support like a frontline tank with crowd control, similar to a tank in the jungle, but this way jungle Zyra will have more items than a support Zyra would. Basically, you kind of want to think of it like an Elise, except you have a much better team fight, though your ganks are going to be slightly worse. That's kind of what this does in a nutshell, I think. So the build suggested here is Runic Echoes, Lichbane, Rylai's, Liandry's, Deathcap. Now the Lichbane is a weird part for this for sure. Like, she does have high range though, so it kind of works. It really revolves around like a one-shot burst combo than sustained damage and kite, which you normally go for. Now weaving auto attacks in between spells and you will do a ton of damage, but I found it kind of hard to get used to. Normally I use spells from range and kind of kite around, I guess. Once you get the Rylai's though, like, this is the big thing because it's seriously hard to kill you and people underestimate you massively. Catch them face checking in the jungle and they are absolutely 100% bent over and boned. Moving on to number 4, back to one I found, Tank Arthas, and I'm not kidding, this is legit a tank version of Arthas. There are a few people I found who do this, and apart from being like a ton of fun, it's also just ridiculous. Like, it's so annoying, but it actually works. Your job is basically to survive a very long time in the middle of their team with your Eon, so that's really what this comes down to. Instead of doing a ton of damage and just dying very quickly to be in your passive, you will run around doing that E damage for much longer. It's got really high base values actually, and that is why you max it first, which is not normal for Arthas, but at rank 5 is 110 damage per second. That is a lot of damage. If you think in a team fight, right, a tank survives maybe 10 seconds, at least probably. That is going to be 1,100 damage just from your E. Obviously before magic resist and stuff, but that is to every single person around you. Imagine if you're in the middle of the entire team, okay, that's going to be 5,500 damage just in 10 seconds of standing there. That is crazy. That's without the AP ratio on it too, without Q, anything. Plus actually most people who do this tank Arthas run magic pen, reds and quints, so this base damage is going to be doing even more. But there's actually another part. His E stings so bad and that's fine, but actually it's not just those 10 seconds, right? It's a 7 after in your passive when he dies. That's going to be an extra 770 to every single person he does over that time. If we add that to the 10 seconds of the fight before, that's almost 10,000 damage in total. That is going to be 2,000 to each person roughly. Tell me that is not broken. To be honest, it's probably more considering your ultimate and Q damage, but that is stupid. Anyway, the build I've been using is Tear into Salt Boots and then Righteous Glory. It sounds super dumb. I had the same thought you guys probably just did when I saw this, but it's like so you can run into the middle of the fight and engage properly. I know it sounds dumb, but it does work, okay? Trust me. After that, you can go a lot of different things, like Sunfight into Deadman's into Thornmail against full AD, Abyssal, Deadman's Banshees against full AP, like Deadman's, Abyssal, Banshees, Randuin's for more of a kind of mixed team. Thornmail is very good at the end though because it does magic damage, so Pen helps you a bit more, and also they'll be taking your E damage plus killing themselves at the same time, like an AD carry's worst nightmare. Normally upgrading your tier into Seraphs is going to be the last thing you do. Remember, we don't really care much about AP to be honest. We just want the magic pen and tank stats to last longer. That is basically Tank Arthas in a nutshell. You farm early with tier, base damage carries with your E, survive forever, output loads of AoE damage, and just be super annoying to play against. The last one is another one from you guys. He even gave this a name, Tank Fiddle My Fiddlesticks. So there you go. You probably guess it's going to be Tank Fiddle. This is mostly jungle, but you could play it top, he says, if you wanted to, I guess. Honestly, I wouldn't bother though. I think jungle is much better. So it starts off kind of normal. Runic Echoes for the damage part. I actually tried Cinderhulk to go full tank, and you basically do no damage, like nothing at all. So I think Runic is better. Anyway, then Moby Boots or Tabby, Visage, Randuin's, Warmogs, Frozen Heart, Thornmail, literally just tank, and Strength of the Ages Keystone. You kind of want to think of this like a more annoying and more forgiving version of Fiddlesticks, I guess, who will irritate them to death rather than burst burst them down. It's kind of funny because people will actually turn and try to burst you like normal, but that doesn't really work with this guy. Like, they'll just be confused and like, what is going on? Why is he not dying? Seriously, you don't do much damage though, like, but you're so annoying, okay? Fear, silence, and drain forever. That's basically this build in a nutshell. Once you get your spirit visage though, because of the increased healing and stuff, like, you heal back so much and it's so hard to kill you. It's really funny to play. There isn't really too much to it because you're literally just like a normal fiddle, but you're full tank. And unlike Arthas, who's there to do a ton of base damage to everyone around him, you're really there to be annoying and not to die. That is actually your job really. Fear a lot, science a lot, ultimate squishy targets, and drain to soak all of their cooldowns and their time. You're actually an amazing frontline though. You waste a ton of their time and you'd be surprised how good that is in general. Like, keeping the enemy AD carry and mid laner busy for ages in the fight will give your team a lot of time to kill their frontline and you'll win the fight. Anyway, that is going to wrap up my 5 picks. If you want to see a gameplay for some of these, then let me know in the comments which one you want to see, and I'll try and do that sometime this week or next week. But I'm going to be reading all of these comments. Leave your builds. Thank you for watching, but for now, let's go to the robots.